Hi, I'm Chef Yoon of Father's Office and the new Helms Bakery in Culver City. Today I'm gonna make one of my absolute favorite sandwiches. I don't think there's enough egg sandwiches in the world. My absolute favorite is the Japanese version of the classic egg salad sandwich, the tamago sando. However, I do still love a good deli egg sandwich. So today we may mix that up a little bit, mix sort of techniques and disciplines, and show you some of the ingredients that are kind of used as a hybrid, if you will. So this recipe doesn't have to be super exact, like some other recipes I always talk about. The most important part about this dish is the eggs themselves, the temperature of the eggs, and the timing of the eggs really has to be super precise. First thing I'm gonna do is use farm fresh eggs that are at room temperature. You can't pull these from the fridge and just stick them in the water. Bring these down, probably 10 minutes outside. Get your water boiling very, very hot. In this sandwich, we're gonna use two different textures of eggs. One will be cooked a little bit longer, 10 minutes, the traditional hard boiled, and then we're gonna use a slightly softer version, an 8-minute egg. I think this is a non-negotiable. I think you have to start with the boiling water. It's a lot more precise. If you add eggs to cold water and then the boil starts, there's so many variables. There are things like, the stove itself, how much water, the ratio of the eggs to the water, just way too many variables. Once the water's boiling, you're gonna get more consistent results, so that's my method. At Helms, we make a sandwich that you may see in a convenience store in Japan. It's become such a global hit. It's a great travel sandwich. It's got tons of protein, they're delicious, and the bread, it's so soft. People love white bread. I just think it makes you feel like a kid. It's something I've eaten as a child, and I still eat them today. One thing we have to be careful about when we're boiling these eggs is not to overcrowd. If we're making a lot of these, we need to use a bigger pot because we don't want the eggs slamming into each other. They are rather delicate, and we did introduce them to boiling water, so make sure they have some separation space. Come out. Now, I don't use a ton of ice because actually I don't want these to be cold. We just want to remove some heat. So allow some of the heat to come off of the eggs. My technique goes like this. So one of the difficulties in peeling an egg is that when we break it, these will break into very large pieces. So think of mosaic tile. Sometimes when you buy mosaic tile, there's like a fabric or a mesh behind it, and what that allows it to do is let the little teeny tile pieces stick. So we're creating kind of a mosaic tile. So if you use the back of a spoon and rapidly just rotate the egg in your hand, what you end up doing is you end up creating very teeny little pieces of shell that are still attached to the backing, the membrane. And you're trying to not have that membrane work against you. You're trying to actually utilize that membrane. The nice part is when the pieces of shell are rather small, it can help in not damaging the outer, the white of the egg. So this is kind of what you're trying to do. You're trying to see that membrane is pulling all of those little teeny shell pieces off with you. Okay, so you gotta work quickly. We don't want these to get hardened and cold. Okay, now we'll move on to the slightly undercooked egg, the 8-minute egg. And the difference in time is just what's gonna happen to the yolk. The white in an 8-minute cooked egg is a little more tender than a 10-minute egg, but the real difference you're gonna see is the texture of the yolk itself. It should have a touch of like liquidity to it. Okay, so I can already feel this egg. As soon as I hold it in my hand, I can actually feel that this yolk is not set completely, which is what we want. You can feel it, almost like how you touch a steak, you can tell the doneness. So let's make egg salad. And all you wanna do is make sure that there's not a lot of moisture on the whites. You can just kind of roll them around on a paper towel like this. You wanna let them just cool down, almost like resting a piece of meat. Now, at this stage, there's a million ways to do this. You can use egg slicers, you can just chop it. I've seen people put this in a food processor. It depends on the texture you're trying to end up with. I like a cross between creamy and chunky. I mean, you do both. I'm just gonna chop mine. Okay, so look at this egg. You can see the color is still really vibrant. You can see that it hasn't dried out. The egg is not chalky. That's the number one thing that we're trying to guard against, that chalky, dry egg, that crumbly yolk. All I'm gonna do is just cut these in half. And we'll do this a little chunky style. My version of the egg salad sandwich is definitely a hybrid between, the LA Jewish deli and Japanese convenience store, because there's a little bit of the DNA of both here. I don't really stick strictly to either recipe. They are quite different. Yeah, I definitely use a little bit of both. The way the dressing starts in Japanese egg salad, which brings me to my first non-negotiable here, is Japanese mayonnaise, the Kewpie. It's every chef's favorite mayonnaise. The Japanese mayonnaise is a pure egg yolk, and there might be a little MSG in it. I don't know why I whisper when I say that. I should say it loud and proud, because really MSG has been proven for so long that there's nothing wrong with it. It's not something that's going to hurt you. But that little touch of umami that the Japanese mayonnaise has, it lengthens flavor. I always try to explain what MSG does to food, and it's hard to explain in words because it doesn't necessarily change the flavor, and it's different than salt and sugar, but it has characteristics of both salt and sugar, which is a really perplexing idea. But I always say whatever thing you're tasting, it's gonna feel more like it, and it's gonna give it like stretch. It's gonna make the flavor last longer. And the MSG reacts differently to different ingredients because it's still sodium, it's still a salt molecule. That's starting to look really good. Yeah, that's perfect. We're gonna take the 8-minute eggs. The 8-minute eggs are softer. They are that jammy, and you can feel this from the outside of the egg. It's a little almost liquidy, but come on, that's perfect, right? Legitimately perfect. On these sandwiches, what you wanna do is put an egg cut side down right on top of the egg salad. Ever so gentle season just right on top of the eggs. Just paste the top. And then when the other side of the bread comes down, it's gonna give it something to like stick to. Now, to get the maximum aesthetic impact, we want to cut this sandwich right down the middle. We want to go right between, split that egg half. Important to have a sharp serrated knife because we don't want to push on this, we don't want to disturb it, we don't want to squish it. Who's gonna have a bite? This is a really good one.